洛杉矶道奇队的二刀流巨星大谷翔平，凭借着季后赛单场送出10次三振并狂轰3支全垒打的史诗级表现，荣获了2026年 ESPY 年度最佳单场运动表现奖。这项至高无上的荣誉不仅引发了全美体育圈的热烈讨论，更让棒球界与篮球界为了大谷与张伯伦、阿德巴约水才是单场天花板展开了疯狂辩论。然而，在荣耀背后，大谷因膝盖发炎积水接受抽水手术，不仅退出了明星赛，下半季也确定暂时无法登板投球。这对道奇队的争冠之路究竟会带来多大的隐忧？接下来，我们就透过中文字幕来收看这段精彩内容。
And the ESPY award goes to, check this out, Shohei Ohtani.
Shohei could not be here tonight. He sends his gratitude and appreciation to ESPN and everyone who voted for him.
Shohei's the guy.
Wait. First off, Mike Tyson thought Shohei Ohtani was a girl. Did you hear that at the end?
Shohei's the guy.
He says Shohei's a guy? How is that humanly possible? He's the best baseball player currently. He's the greatest baseball player of all time. He's globally known in the United States, around the entire world. He's the GOAT athlete playing of anybody in the world right now. Lionel Messi's in that conversation as well. There's Messi, there's Ohtani. They're the GOAT of all GOATs playing right now. And how on earth does Mike Tyson not? I don't get it. How's it possible? I don't want to spend a ton of time on that. But anyway, people started fighting me because Shohei Ohtani won the greatest single game performance in all of sports in 2026. And I posted about it, and people started getting frustrated that Bam Adebayo, sorry, I'm a baseball guy, I think it's Adebayo, didn't win after his 83-point performance in 2026. And I don't even think it's close. I actually, not only do I disagree that it should be Bam, I think what Shohei Ohtani did is the greatest game ever by any athlete in any sport. 10 strikeouts on the mound. A dominant game for a starting pitcher. 10 strikeouts on the mound. 3 home runs at the plate. The same player did both of those. I really do think it's the greatest performance in baseball history. And some of the blowback I got there from baseball fans is a perfect game. I do not believe a perfect game is better than what Shohei Ohtani did. From the pitching side of things, a perfect game is better than what Shohei did. But you're also adding the 3 home runs to that. Is an 83-point game in basketball better? No. And a lot of those were free throws, might I add. Free throws. Free. Is Wilt Chamberlain's 100-point game better than what Shohei Ohtani did? No, it's not. Shohei Ohtani did this in the playoffs, in the final game of a playoff series, to propel his team to the next round. And this is, again, no discredit to any other player I'm talking about. Not Bam, not Wilt Chamberlain, but Wilt Chamberlain took 63 shots. 63. He made 36 to get to his 100 points. I don't even think this is much of an argument. I think Shohei Ohtani's performance is the greatest game in baseball history. And correct me if I'm wrong. Put it in the comments. I do believe it might be the greatest performance ever by any athlete in any sport in any single game. That is truly what I believe. And you add on that it happened in the playoffs. So, again, congratulations to Shohei Ohtani winning the greatest single game performance in 2026 at the ESPYs. It just happened a couple of nights ago in New York, and Mike Tyson is the one that was up on stage and just blew my mind with the way he commented on it. It's honestly ridiculous if you ask me. Like, come on, I get you probably got a lot going on up here. By that I mean not a lot going on up here anymore. But come on, that's a ridiculous thing to say. Anyway, This week in Shohei Ohtani news, we saw him not at the All-Star game. Shohei Ohtani withdrew from the All-Star game and is also not pitching to start the second half. I'm not worried yet, but some concern is starting to creep in for me. Obviously, he's still hitting. Will still be in the lineup when the team starts at Yankee Stadium. But how big of an issue is this knee? You know, he withdrew from the All-Star game. He didn't pitch in his final start of the first half. Withdrew from the All-Star game, which I'm totally here for, by the way. Selfishly, I wish he was at the All-Star game. I think it's great for the sport. I think it's great for the All-Star game. I would have loved to have seen him there and talked to him. But I am glad it worked out the way he did. He was dealing with some issues. He needs to get it figured out. And I totally get that he handled it the way he did. On July 12th, he had a little procedure done to have some fluid drained from his knee. That knee where he has been dealing with some knee inflammation. Dominant first half on the mound, right? Dominant. 1.79 ERA, 8-2 on the mound. But in his final 4 starts of the first half, he pitched to the tune of a 4.38 ERA. The knee inflammation started against the Pirates. You can look back on that start, see his knee is landing in a bit of his foot, knee, leg, all of it, landing in a bit of a different area than usual. And from there, some knee inflammation started. They figured it out. They fixed it. They fixed his landing spot. They fixed all of that. But it doesn't change that he kept dealing with some knee inflammation. So now, to start this second half off, they're playing the New York Yankees on the road in New York, and the 3 starting pitchers are announced, and Shohei Ohtani is not one of them. Mark Pryor, pitching coach for the Dodgers, said he is moderately concerned about the knee inflammation. So here's my thoughts. I am not super concerned yet. It's almost like this All-Star break allowed him to skip 2 starts without really being this huge deal. You push him the second start of the All-Star, the final start before the All-Star break. You scratch him from that start, so he gets the break throughout the All-Star break, and then he has the procedure to remove the fluid from his knee, and he's not going to start the second half. For me, if he's not listed as a starting pitcher in the series against the Phillies, which starts on the 20th of July, then I will start being worried. Then there will be more concern to creep in. But as of now, doesn't start final start, doesn't play in the All-Star game, has a procedure to remove fluid, probably not ready yet, but he will be ready then. I am not yet concerned, but I will be concerned if this lasts another few days, that the knee was a bit of a bigger issue than we thought. But again, the silver lining in all of this is that he's still continuing to hit, and to hit at a high level, might I add. Before the All-Star break, the final 6 games before the All-Star break, Shohei Ohtani homered in 4 of them for 40 homers after the slow start. So I believe as I sit now, he's going to end up in that 45 range. How crazy would that be? But it's true. I think Shohei Ohtani ends up, I'm going to call it 45. 45 on the dot. I'm calling it here on July 17th. Shohei Ohtani ends up with 45 home runs after sitting at 6 through the first month and a half of the season. So dominant first half offensively, pitching-wise. If these exact numbers carry over into the second half, as in he finishes with a sub-2 ERA and an OPS around 1,000 with the 45 home runs that I called, this would be the greatest season of all time for a baseball player, topping Shohei Ohtani a couple times over the past few years. Greatest season ever. We're watching it, we're seeing it develop, and I just hope this knee issue does not slow him down. But the second half is getting started without Shohei Ohtani on the mound. That's the big news right now. So this week in Shohei Ohtani news, we had to talk about him winning the single game performance, greatest single game performance of last year. I don't think it's much of a debate, but man, oh man, have I stirred up the NBA community online, and they are frustrated that I said it's far better than what Bam did last year for the Heat in that 83-point game. I don't think that's much of a debate, but what I do think is a lot of a debate, and I want everyone to answer, and if you're watching on YouTube, please leave a comment, because I comment back to everyone that leaves a comment. Please leave a comment. What do you think? And this is interesting, because it's a very difficult answer. And I think we might get some interesting ones. But what do you genuinely think is the greatest single game performance in sports history? Across any sport? What comes to mind? Because off the top of my head, I'm missing some, right? I don't know. I'm not super in the know on some sports. I'm sure there's some incredible soccer performances. You know, I know more about the Wilt Chamberlain and Bam, like the 100-point performance. I know more about football and basketball than I do about like soccer and hockey. But please, I want to know what you think is the greatest single sports performance ever, because I struggle to find anything better than 10 strikeouts and 3 home runs and 4 at-bats. Genuinely. Wilt Chamberlain's 100-point game, he took 63 shots and he made 36 of them. Shohei, if you will, in terms of shots, took 4 shots and hit 3 home runs. The best thing you can do offensively. And he also pitched that game and struck out 10 and dominated on the mound. I struggle to find anything better.
大谷翔平获得 ESPY 年度最佳单场运动表现奖，这绝对是实至名归。单场10次3振加上3支全垒打。而且是在决定晋级的季后赛关键战役中完成，这在世界体育史上都是前无古人后无来者的神迹。相比之下，张伯伦的100分用了63次出手，阿德巴约的83分也有大量罚球。大谷在投打两端同时展现的极致主宰力，确实超越了其他运动的单场极限。然而，更值得我们高度关注的是大谷目前的膝盖伤势。道奇队投手教练马克·普莱尔坦言对大谷的膝盖发炎中度担忧，这绝非空穴来风。大谷在第一季后半段的防御率从1.79飙升到4.38，正是因为膝盖发炎影响了投球时的落脚点与下半身支撑机制。虽然大谷利用明星赛空档进行了关节积水抽取手术并跳过2场先发是明智的保护措施，但如果他在7月20日对阵费城人的系列赛中依然无法登板，那么球迷们就必须开始真正担心了。好消息是，膝盖伤势并未影响大谷在打击区的疯狂输出，他上半季敲出22轰，目前正朝着单季45轰的里程碑迈进。如果大谷能在下半季顺利回归投手丘，并缴出防御率低于2.00、攻击指数 OPS 接近1.000的成绩单，这无疑将成为棒球史上最伟大的单一赛季。各位球迷，你们觉得大谷单场10K 加上3轰的表现，是否真的超越了张伯伦的100分？而道奇队对于大谷膝盖伤势的保守战术，是否会影响到他们10月的争冠布局？欢迎在下方留言分享你们的看法。谢谢大家收看今天的影片。如果喜欢我们的内容，别忘了点赞、分享并订阅频道。你们的支持是我们制作影片的最大动力。我们下期影片再见。